I'm up here in the mountains or hills, whatever you want to call them, by Omak. It's just beautiful up here. You can still see the snow on the mountains out there. I'll zoom in a little bit. That's several miles away, of course. Magnification 10. But I thought I would just share the drive back because it's really beautiful. So I'll put you on my kickstand here. And maybe I'll widen it out so you get a better view. They had some really bad fires went through here several years ago and killed just about everything. Most of it grows back pretty easy, but not the trees. There are some trees, which surprises me, but as you will see as we drive along, there's a lot of dead trees that have been burned up. There's one right there, a big one that's been all burned up. But it's a beautiful drive. There's some ponds along the way. I would love to live up here. If a guy had an income, or you could work from home. If you like peace and quiet and wildlife, this would be a pretty cool place to live. Hopefully my camera doesn't wobble too much. It is kind of a bouncy road. If I could get in a time machine, I would like to go back a couple hundred years when Native Americans lived here. There were buffalo and all kinds of wildlife. It was a lot harder life though, compared to what we have now with all of our modern conveniences like running water and electricity. Can you imagine living here through the summer when it's 100 plus degrees and dry, and then in the winters when it's down below zero? Without the things we have nowadays, it'd be a tough life. I was raised out in the middle of nowhere in Nebraska. Well, by a town of 50 people, about a mile out in the country, but it was sure quiet. So I appreciate being out here in the quiet. There aren't a ton of trees. These are black. They've been scorched, but a lot of them survived the fire. But the bottoms of them are black. And you can see the ones on the right there, they didn't survive. Different kind of tree. And when I first moved here, I thought of Washington State as a really wet green state, but that's only on the west coast. You get on this side of the mountains, it's hot and dry. This makes for a nice drive. And the road is a dirt road, but it's not too bad. I was on a dirt road the other day and it was down in the bottomlands, and man, was it rough. It was probably the roughest road I've ever been on. Potholes like that right there, but they were everywhere. Washouts. All that in front of us, that's just rock. Rock, solid rock. Little dirt that's drifted in over the years. Give you a little bit of an idea of what we're looking at here. That valley right there. I see somebody lives way down there. There's a house. I don't have my navigation on, so hopefully I don't miss a turn. Reminds me a lot of the sand hills of Nebraska, but we don't have all the rocks. Now here's a guy with a giant pile driver. He's breaking up rocks. I don't know if they're planning on widening the road or there's some here on the side he smashed up. They're probably out in the road a little too much. Trying to make it a little flatter. Must be a private citizen. I don't think the county or the state would do that. Maybe. Can you imagine riding a horse through here? Be slow going. Life was different back then. You can travel further in an hour than they could travel in a whole day. If you're on the highway, that'd be like 3 days of travel at 1 hour. Yeah, I like it. Here you can see all these trees that died, burned up. This fire, I mean, it went through here and it lasted for quite a while. High winds. There were a lot of houses, structures that got burned up. It's not densely populated like some places, but these trees, whatever kind of trees these are, they didn't make it. I'm surprised these over here did. But if you look up the hill there, those are all burnt, so kind of hit and miss through here. It's a pretty windy road. You can only go about 20 miles an hour. Be a beautiful place for a home if you like your privacy. These are some of the ponds I was talking about. The guy told me that the way you get fish in these ponds a lot of times naturally is the birds eat the fish eggs and then they fly up here and poop them out, and then the fish hatch and you end up with fish in your pond. Or you could do like my son and catch them in a big lake and release them. Man, I would love to live up here. Have a little kayak around. It'd be awesome. Sorry, don't want to make you guys dizzy. This part of the road's a little bit bumpy. Bumpity bump. Now this is a really nice pond here coming up. As far as ponds go, I like that one. You could stock that baby with some trout. We'll get a better view here. Look at that. Be a great place for a summer camp. Kids could kayak or canoe, swim. All right, we'll keep driving. There's several ponds on the way up here. We get up here a little further, there's a better view of show you how high up we are. It took me about less than 30 minutes to get out here. Pays $40 for the gig, so that's about $40 an hour. I can live with that. There's a little pond on the right. Not much to that one. Have to hang on to my phone a little bit so it doesn't fly off the dash. Now this pond has some ducks on it. Migratory waterfowl, as I like to call them. Let's see if we can zoom in on one here. There it is. There's another one over this way. Getting their morning breakfast, I guess. The thing about it, there's no traffic. I think I'm gonna have to pause and put on my navigation. I'm pretty sure I take a left here. Cameron Lake Road, yep. This is the way I came. But you'll see a lot of burnt trees on the way back. There's a patch of them right there. But right beside them, these trees that didn't get burned up. There's another pond. Very nice. So much rock. It's just rock, rock, rock. All these trees burned up on the right. Another pond with some burnt trees and some live trees. And a vehicle. I passed a few on the way up here, but not a lot. Maybe half a dozen on the whole trip. Another pond. They're everywhere. And all these burnt trees. I know it had to be devastating for the people that live up here. I'm sure a lot of people lost their house. House and barns and garages and vehicles and livestock. It was a nasty fire. High winds. It just couldn't stop it. All that land's been cleared of dead trees. We'll get up here a little bit. Here we come. You'll be able to see. Sorry. Put this back in the holder here. You can get an idea how high we are. I'll just pull over here. Somebody's driveway. Do a little panoramic. That's the valley down there. It's really pretty up here. Awesome view. You can see for miles and miles. That town right down there is Okanogan. See what we can see of Okanagan. Not a very big town. A few thousand, I imagine. I'm not really sure. Mostly Indian land up here. There's a casino, which is where I ended up spending the night. But I got a room for $69 and it has an awesome shower in it. It's about a 6x10 shower with 3 shower heads, one about 3 feet up, one about 4 feet up, one about 6 feet up. And you can use 3 of them or 2 of them or 1 of them. the top one. It's an awesome shower. I'd like to put a smaller version of that in my house. Here we are going down the hill to see the view. More burnt trees. Quite the valley though. Makes for a nice drive. Better than just cruising down the highway at 60 miles an hour for an hour or two. Kind of reminds me of South Dakota. Up around Mount Rushmore with all the fir trees, cedar trees, whatever they are, and the rocks. Drop my truck down into fourth gear so I'm not cruising so fast. Yep, there's Okanagan. I don't think it's Omak. I think I'm far enough south. That's Omak. Another small pond on the right. There's a little bit of farming here. That might be wheat down there. But mostly it's just pasture land and not a lot of that because in another month or two it'll hit 90 degrees and all this will just dry up and be brown. If it wasn't for irrigation around here, not too much would grow. Back in the day though, been lots and lots of buffalo roaming around. Not too many humans and no fences. Well, we're almost back down to the highway. Well, probably a few more miles. But we're out of the mountains with the big view. There's some cattle. See a lot of cattle and horses around here. Well, thanks for joining me on my little journey. I'll post this later on, maybe on TikTok, at least on Facebook. Have a great day.